Assalamualaikum everyone. Today we'll talk about the book that was written a century ago. Yes, you heard that right. A book that was written a century ago and still relevant, and the book was written by Dale Cournegi, and the name of the book is How to Influence and Influence People. The book basically talks about how to influence and talk and behave in front of a person who is totally new or someone who you know before. So, what are the things that you can do when you first meet a person? So, in communication, there are two different roles. The first one is a speaker, and the second one is an audience. So the role of a speaker is different than the role of an audience. During the communication, a speaker must play the role of a person with authority. He must have the authority and be concise with his words. And the second thing that he has to do is to be open with his body language. And the third thing is to maintain eye contact. Suppose you are talking to a person and he is looking other way but not at you. When the person is not looking at you, you don't feel the level of engagement with the person in front of you. So when you are talking to a person, make sure that you are looking straight at him, body straight towards him, not somewhere else, looking somewhere else, scratching your head or doing anything ingenious can lead to a disengagement. So after an open body language, eye contact and concise words, the thing you can do next is to become more interested in the person in front of you. So find out the things that the other person likes or feels enthusiastic talking about. What makes a 20-year-old interested doesn't make the same impact on a 60-year-old or a 10-year-old. Everyone has different field of interests and things that they like. So try to find out the things that the other person in front of you like the most. So what's the next thing that can make you know more about the person in front of you? So it is called the Ford theory. F-O-R-D, Ford. So what the Ford theory stands for: F for family, O for occupation, R for recreation, and D for dreams. So these are the four topics that you can capitalize on and talk to a person about. Almost every person likes these four topics. Everyone knows about his family. Obviously, everybody knows about their occupation. And definitely they know about their dreams and recreations. I mean, hobby. So, and people will definitely be enthusiastic and feel interested in talking about these topics. So now we'll shift to the next role, that is the role of an audience. The role of an audience is very vast. It is not to stand and just listen. It is a very, very important job. When you are more interested in the person in front of you, it makes the other person feel more interested in talking. So be genuinely interested in the person in front of you. And after that, the second thing you can do as an audience is to nod. When you nod to a person, it come up as a very decent act that shows the other person that you are listening to him. So after listening to him very carefully, after nodding, and the third most important and the most hardest thing that I will see or think, that is maintaining eye contact. So maintaining eye contact is one of the most important and hardest things to do, because those who feel awkward looking at the person directly or in their eyes can look in the lower part of the face. So here the upper part of the face and here the lower part of the face. When you look here, you are not directly looking at the eyes. What you are doing is looking at the lower part of the face, and this will make you more calm, and also it will seem to the other person that you are looking at him. So that's an important tips that can help you be more genuine. And the next thing that you can do as an audience is to have an open body language, not folding arms, not crossing the legs, and being open in front of the other person will make them more interested in talking to you. I am an introvert myself, but the most of the times I have talked to a person, at the end of the conversation, mostly they have said that I am a very good communicator, but rarely I have spoken a word. So what makes a person a good communicator is not always what he talks, but also how well he performs his role of an audience. When you genuinely are interested in the person in front of you, when you genuinely listen to him, you talk about the things that he is interested about, and also share your field of interests in front of that person, that makes the person very much happy and interested to talk with you. So after the communication part, the next thing is argument. So in the next part, we'll talk how to get the best out of an argument. To get the best out of an argument is to avoid it. An argument doesn't really give you a lot. If you lose the argument, you lose the argument. If you win the argument, it will make the person in front of you more stronger in their opinion and become more defensive in their approach. So the best advice about an argument is to avoid it, but not always you can avoid an argument. So how to get the best out of an argument when you have to get into an argument? So what you can do is to start in a very friendly manner. Remember, it is not an argument, it is a conversation, to go into a constructive and concise solution that will help both the persons. So don't think about winning an argument, rather find out the things that you both have come into a common point. When you two guys are talking, make sure that you listen to him very carefully. People love to talk and love to be listened. So when you listen to a person, it automatically removes the defensiveness from that person and make him more involved into going into a common solution. So make sure that you start in a friendly manner. Make sure that you listen to the other person in front of you, and make sure that you find out common points in that conversation. So the next thing that you need to understand while going into a constructive conversation and going into a common point is that make sure that you give the other person pride. People loves and crave for importance. When you give it to that person, it makes him more interested to listen to you and be more lovable or genuinely involved in that conversation rather than going into defensiveness. So make sure that you give that person the equal importance, not directly saying that you are wrong, because no opinion is actually wrong or no opinion is actually correct. If you were in the same shoes, saw the world from the same lenses, and been in their place, you probably would have had the same point of view as the other person. So be more empathetic and more genuous and positive towards the other person. That will make them more interested in listening to you and going into a common solution. So after that, what you can do is that make sure that when you are in an argument or trying to go into a common solution, make them think that the idea is his or hers. This is a very important thing. As I spoken earlier, that people love importance and crave for importance, it will make them more interested in that conversation if they think that this is his or her idea. How to do that is to take the points or the in a conversation, take point of views from the other person and perceiving them as a person who can give you something that you don't know. So when you are in an argument or in a conversation or trying to go into a common topic, make sure that you listen to that person very carefully and make them more feel more important and be enthusiastic in giving their own ideas and make them feel that they are being heard or listened. So after argument, the thing that we can talk about is persuasion. How to get someone into thinking about your way, in your way. So the first theory that is we'll talk about is the burger effect. When you have to give someone feedback or have to have a difficult conversation with someone, make sure you use the burger effect. What the burger effect does is that when you give them some feedback, try to start the conversation with giving a compliment, then the feedback, then again a compliment. This is called the burger effect or the sandwich effect. Give a compliment before the feedback and give a compliment after the feedback. That will make the person more less defensive in their approach and try to listen. He will try to listen to you and try to improve. The second thing is quite familiar to you all. The second thing that we have talked, that people love importance. So when you save someone's pride, when you save someone's face in front of a lot of person, you will be obedient to you. So try to save someone's face and reputation. When someone has done something wrong, say that it is a hard job to do. It is not something to be ashamed of. And let the other person save his face. The next thing that we'll talk about, that try to use and give them a reputation to live up to. So when you give them a reputation like you are an honest person, you are someone who listens very carefully, the person who you are giving these compliments, or the person who is receiving these compliments will try to live up to your expectation. That is a very simple bias from our brain, that try to live up to the expectations of others, because our brain craves for social acceptance, and that's why we try to live up to the expectations of the others people around us. So if you and your friends or people around that person give them the same compliment more and more, that he is a very kind person, he is a very honest person, he is a very dedicated and disciplined person, then the person, even if he is not a disciplined person, he will try to live up to that expectation and become more dedicated and listen to people more, so that he can live up to the expectation. The next thing that we'll talk about is to use and instead of but. So you have probably heard that anything that comes after but doesn't count. So when you give someone a feedback, try to give it with and. For example, what is more pleasant to you from the following two sentences? If I say to you, you have done a good progress, but you are being very late in your approach. And the next sentence is, you are doing a great progress in past 1 year, and what you can do is be more proactive. That will make you do more progress in future. So adding and instead of but can make you sound more pleasant and someone who is likable. So after being pleasant, the next thing that you can do to make a person more interested and listen to your feedback is to give it in a friendly way. Not giving a feedback to demean a person. When you give a feedback to improve a person, genuinely want to improve a the person will be more likely to take that feedback and improve himself. So that will help the person and you as well, whatever your agenda is. So this was it for this video. I hope you liked it, and if you liked it, make sure to subscribe. That will encourage me to post more videos. Thank you.